All right, everybody, it's the Boxing Source here once again, and I have a special guest with us right now. He's joining us. I know we've had him as a guest, over the phone, but we got him here one on one, and that's our guy here, Mr. Willie Mongoose
Yes,
Monroe
sir.
Jr. What's going on?
Thank you for having me, brother. Everything's good. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm all good, all good. It's been a minute, since we've had our last conversation. So we're trying to catch up here. Just seeing here, like what's your current situation? I know the last time that we talked, you were over there around the Tampa Bay area. So are
Yeah.
you still over there, or are you over stationed somewhere else?
Well, we're in the Orlando area now. We, after the pandemic and things hit kind of hard for us. Obviously, you heard that, well, during the pandemic, I had the house fire I had,
Mm.
but me and my wife made some things work with some past investments, and now we have a home. We live in the Orlando area, so God has been great.
Oh man, so we're from like the Hillsborough County area over to
Yeah.
Orange County and everything like that. Actually, I was just around that area actually last weekend, man. So I caught up with the a couple of folks over there in Orlando and Tampa. But good thing you're there in Orlando. Just went through I-4, just drove up I-4 basically when you
Yeah.
moved there. You know what I mean?
Great shot.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Now, I know that you've been in the ring, been a professional for a long time.
Yeah.
But like you said, things with the lockdown and everything kind of like paused. So a good number of fights and fighters.
Mhm.
But you had your thing going since 2018, had a win streak going. Getting things very good, and then the lockdown happened, and then everything pretty much stopped. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like being troubling because when
Yeah.
you have something like that, you have you have your streak going, you've been doing good, you've been working out, doing well in the gym and in the ring, but you're waiting for that phone call. So how tough is it, just being there and just not being able to get that phone call for a specific fight or any type of fight?
Um, that's a blessing. It's a blessing to be in this position. This is nothing that I'm unfamiliar to. If you know my how I came up, and that's a blessing because to go through something and to understand it and to be able to go through it and still, and still stay on course, that takes practice. You hear about these guys like your greats, and I'm not saying I'm comparing myself to any of these greats, but when you listen to these greats talk of, like the Michael Jordan and stuff, and again, I'm not comparing myself to them, but they were down bad and losing hard was what made them get up. You feel what I'm saying? What made him be able to practice that drive of coming back. So when he had to execute that in future games, he had already been to the bottom of the barrel twice. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
So throughout my career, that's sort of been like a little bit of a pattern. So I'm thankful for that because it prepared me for this.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, sometimes, like you said, it gives you some things where you practice, and also gives you patience.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to see what the situation is and adapt to the situation. Just like you said with your recent example of having to make adjustments to move from the Tampa Bay area to Orlando. So it kind of like worked into that particular favor where you
Yeah.
just saying like, hey, I got to think about doing this because I've already been in some type of situation that where I had to make the adjustments. So you already were used to something like that. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. Yep. I'm grateful to have a beautiful family. Have Push. My kids are my inspiration. You know what I mean? My wife, she's a phenomenal woman. And just working hard on both of our ends and, flip-flopping the jobs back and forth. And I just noticed like whatever you put your mind to, you can truly do. You feel what I'm saying? Whether everything that I've like truly put my hand to, like a lot of people know I had a little bit of a music career, a little bit of an acting career. Like whenever I just shine my light in that direction, I was always able to, go exceedingly of what somebody would expect simply because of how hard my inner push is. I could shine that light in any direction and be something great because that's just who I am.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, like, hey, you said you're there. You have a music career. You have a thing with the acting, and you put your 110% into it. But
Yeah,
you are, but people see that you're very talented in those particular fields. So
right.
you're able to just adjust and be just basically in the element, so that
Yeah,
it really doesn't look like it's in some cases difficult, but at the same token, you see that you're very good at what you do, and other
Thank
people notice
you.
that. So you're able to go into those different fields without
Mhm.
having to, really do that much as what is it? Allen Iverson said, practice. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So having that type of ability is very good, when it comes to these things, because sometimes, whatever you initially were doing, sometimes it might not work out for you.
right,
So you got to come up with some type of alternative to keep things
right.
going. And I guess what you've been doing with the adversity and dealing with those things, that you're able to adapt to, whatever,
Exactly.
and just make the next move, make the next move. You know what I mean?
But you just apply yourself. You apply yourself to whatever. Like me and my family, we do escape rooms a lot. You know what I mean? And like you just gotta apply it. No two rooms are the same. You gotta apply yourself and work together and understand this so you can get to the next level. You feel what I'm saying? You can't get mad at the situation, you can't get too high and happy on the situation. You have to understand the mission ahead. And it's gonna come with left, rights, ups, down, fronts, backs, highs, lows. You feel what I'm saying? And you gotta be able to ride the wave and understand the great. It's polarizing, the greatness and on the minuscule level, and be able to work everything in between. I know it sounds wild, but that's how my brain be working, man.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Man, those escape rooms, I actually never did one of those things. I got to try one of
Yeah,
those joints out. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I
Because
love
that
them.
makes you think on the fly and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And I know that you had the thing. Like I said, they're a professional boxer. And some of the things that I go through is not just the sport, but the business itself. And with the business, at least for me, is what I've learned is sometimes it could be very great and sometimes it can be very frustrating. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And we talked about the thing as far as like I said, you had your winning streak and everything like that, 2018, 2019. But ever since then, it's like I said, you haven't really gotten that phone call. So um when it comes to like being in the ring, what would you say is like the most disappointing thing about not having to step in the ring and fight, over the 3 years?
I'm just like I said, applying myself. I stopped. I dropped out of college. I don't even like that term. 2007, because I was getting ready to go to the 2008 Olympic Games, and everybody knows the famous story. I lost to Sean Porter in I think the semifinals of the qualifiers. I mean, he became Olympic alternate. So, shouts out to Sean Porter, man, phenomenal fighter. But uh, I was just like, I'm not gonna go back. I'm not gonna keep fighting amateur. I had 142 amateur fights. I was like, I'm not gonna go back and do that for free anymore. And I wasn't really interested in going back to school. I was paying back student debt and everything. And I was just like, I'm just gonna turn pro. So I got two jobs, turned pro, and that became the walk of my career, just like a blue collar fighter.
Mhm. Word, word. Now, I know that like we were talking about before, getting into this thing, that you have your thing with the social media, and I know that we were talking about the thing about your workout videos and being in the gym and that type of thing.
Right.
There was like one video for me that stood out was like when you were doing the exercise, and it's like you start off with the push-ups, but you had like the dumbbells or the
Oh,
the kettlebells, right?
yeah, the
And
kettlebell.
you pretty much do one push up, and then you do one lift, and
Right.
then get up and then just do those, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm looking into, because I might do something like that. I don't know if like how many sets of those that you do. It's
All the
probably
way
like
up.
go up to like 10 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Sets to 10. So like how much interest have you been getting from like doing those workout videos, and like you said, going on the Zoom and having those virtual training sessions with different people?
It's fun, man. Like people have reached out, and it's cool to be able to use the knowledge you have. Throughout these years, I've had two super, super phenomenal strength and conditioning coaches that I've worked with. Patrick O'Connor, who has Black Irish Box. He also trained John Jones for a little bit, and Lucky Davis. And like every time you see me, I'm always in great shape. Don't get tired. I've had the opportunity to be able to work. I think we did 3 camps at the SNAC facilities, thanks to Vic Conti, and we Remy Court Chimney. Like, you know, that name is like, it'll ring bells. Like, ask anybody in the boxing world or the track and field world, Remy Court Chimney, it's raining. Check it out. Hold on one second.
Oh yeah. Word.
My bad. Oh, my light went out. You can edit this.
Yeah, you should be good.
My bad about that.
Oh, no problem.
1 second, my windows are down.
Uh-oh. Hey, yo, that's the thing, man. You be out there in Florida, you know what I'm saying? And you got you gotta be cognizant, you know what I'm saying? So hey, at any time out there in Florida, especially in the summer, it could be sunny one time, and then all of a sudden, and it'll throw down. So, hey, as we said, sometimes you gotta make moves on the fly. And hey, if you can hear anything as far as like thunder or hey, all of a sudden a whole bunch of rain could run through. And hey, you gotta be prepared. Gotta be prepared.
Yo, that's it. That's the thing about being down here in Florida, man. Like,
Yep.
it just started raining out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. Oh yeah. That's what I be saying, man. Like, I mean, being born in Tampa, so I know the deal every time, man. The
Right.
capital of the world. So it's like anytime, like if it's like May, June, or usually, like I say, in July, it could be sunny, it could be hot,
Right.
humid, sticky, and then by 3 or 4 p.m. it'll be raining like buckets, the rain buckets out there. So
you would think I'd be used to it. I've been down here 3 years now, but
yeah. What was it actually? Like I was saying, I was out there last week, and I think what it was like about 3 or 4 of those days I was out there in Orlando. It was like the same thing, sunny, and then all of a sudden by 4 or 5 o'clock it'll be raining.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how it be, out there in Florida, man. But yeah, going back into the thing with the the whole training videos, like you said, you do them virtually through Zoom sometimes, and I guess they kind of like see what you do, on the Instagram page and say, hey, I mean, hey, see if you can help me out, or can you help me out with some things?
Yeah.
So like go into that there a little bit.
It's just fun. I mean, like, boxing is what I love to do. And obviously the strength and conditioning, like I said, I've had Patrick O'Connor, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world, and Lee Lucky Davis. And then I've had the opportunity to work at the SNAC facilities and be able to work with Remy Court Chimney. And then, Vic Conti knows everything on a molecular level. He structures a supplemental plan with all the SNAC products, pretty much structured to like how your DNA is. So, he'll tell you you need to take more of, maybe more of a fish oil, or you may need to double up on your protein just based on your DNA. So it's structured to the fighter. And I learned so much. There was so much stuff I was doing wrong because I had the old school thing, you eat shorter meals, don't eat after 7. I was out here running like 6-7 miles every morning, and like Big Conti caught me running like 4 miles. He's like, yo, what are you doing? You're gonna mess up all of the work. It's just a different level of learning with the track drills with Remy Court Chimney. So I've been able to work with a lot of people who are really intelligent on that level and pick up things from them. And it's built me.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, like I said, with that particular program, they go through specifics because, I mean, as they say, everybody's not the same, and it's not like everybody could have like a what is it, like a 3,000 calorie diet and be able to work that all off. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to balance either, like you said, having protein or certain vitamins or anything like that, so that people could be able to use that to their full potential, whether they work out, train, or whatever it is. So I think that's one thing that a number of people don't really like kind of think about, is that you don't have to, well, in my sense, you don't have to like say calories in, calories out. It doesn't necessarily have to be that like that for everybody. So everybody has their different way of being able to get the most out of their work-out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So back on the boxing thing, I know that nowadays we have a few things that are going on from the promotional tip, not just large scale, but also those that are just starting out. And over in the area, in the Florida area, particularly Plant City. Actually, they had something, an event last weekend in Plant City. Some with Pro Box TV that's started up with Antonio Tarver, Roy Jones, Paulie Malignaggi, and they've been having a few events there
Right.
over in Plant City. But you also have other organizations that have been starting up things here and there. So is there like anything like where you would say that you could be interested in something like that? Or I think there was one thing where a number of pro fighters have been fighting like over in Dubai.
Yeah.
They've had a number of events over there. So
Kevin,
what do you think about those companies, or having the events in Dubai, or any of these other cities that they having these fights at?
I have. I've been approached. There are great events. I think Pro Box is like probably one of the best. I think it's a phenomenal idea the way they put the tournament together. Myself, I came up in the tournament, the Boxino tournament. So I really stand by those. You'll be able to find out who the best man really is without politics, really. So I think they're doing a phenomenal thing over there. Grassroots fighters. That's something that I think is mirror images myself. I think it's a good fit, but I like to say, like, really in this time of my career, I'm happy that if I didn't want to, I kind of don't have to. You know what I mean? Because of the choices I made during my career. Like, when I say during my career, I still want to fight. But what I'm saying, like, in between my last fight and my first fight, the investments I made, the intelligent people I listened to, the wisdom I took, the bridges I didn't burn. You feel what I'm saying? It just opened a lot of doors for me to be able to expand in a different area, and in an area that I didn't think I would expand in. And my coaches, when we first turned pro, my coaches would always tell me, like, you're going to do something special in boxing. You're going to do something special in boxing. So in my mind, I'm thinking all of the special people. You got Muhammad Ali, you got Roy Jones, you got Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm like, what's special? And then you can't really pick the special thing that you have. You know what I mean? You just have to do it. And one thing I really barked about a lot, you know what I mean, and I wouldn't say barked about, but I tried to intercede in a lot of my conversation in boxing is investments and fighters being intelligent, and not just like investments as far as like invest your money in something to get something back, not even that type of thing, but the people you invest into, the ideas you invest into, blind faith, and being able to trust something that it's not the norm, because the norm is what has gotten you what you have now. If you want better, what you're going to have to do is better, and it's going to be different.
Right.
And to be able to propel myself in that way, I've gotten a few fighters on. I got a few fighters covered with life insurance. Got a few fighters that are willing to invest. They invest some money into some things through my license and my wife's license, to make sure that when they retire, they don't retire broke. And they just have to trust the process. It's like everything else, an investment. You go into the gym, and what you put in for a training camp for your first 10 fights, you're really not getting back in the fight. You know what I mean? In my case, maybe the first 15, 17 fights. You actually put more into it than you're getting out of it. But having that faith and still making that investment, doing the same thing with your money, the money that you make. Because boxing is set up a lot like the music industry. It's not, in fact, it's set up identical to the music industry. Boxing is the only sport that has like no one solid governing body. Even UFC is one solid governing body. It's UFC. They own that part of mixed martial arts. But boxing is like the wild, wild west. It's truly like record labels and artists. That's what it is. And and it's the name of the game. You can't fight it. That's the beast you chose to wrestle with. You get what I'm saying? But the fact that there's no structure to even give the information to fighters, like this is what you can do with your money, just to make sure, no manager or promoter can hold over your head a contract and tell you, you could tell, hey, look, man, I made proper investments with the money I made. I did the right thing. So if you want to try to jerk me around, I really don't have to be here. You know what I mean? Like Dave Chappelle, you feel what I'm saying? And not to compare myself or anyone else to Dave Chappelle. Right. I'm just idea of, I know how to build solid wealth for myself to where you're really not a necessity if I don't make you one. You know what I'm saying? I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. I know my goals, but if not, I can still help people and be great in another area and be happy. So, pulled in kind of fast.
Yeah, I mean that that was great there, because a lot of fighters that turn professional, really don't get into that game of learning the business of the sport and being able to set themselves up to where they'll be better off later on in their careers, whether it's 3 years in, 5 years in, or 10 years in. We hear about all those stories about these boxers that end up broke and they've been in the game 15 years and had like a great status over the course of their professional careers. It's almost like football. Football be the same thing, but in boxing, like you said, it's not one governing body. There's nothing that really protects the fighters in a sense. So once you get in the game, you got to know how to make certain moves, make those particular relationships that you could build for yourself, but also for other people, so that once you do eventually get out of the game, that you're at least financially stable and also mentally stable. You know what I mean? And that's the most important thing. And for you to do that and also teach other fighters those tricks and trades of the game is very vital, so that they know what the deal is once they get further in their career. So I think that's very important, because it's almost like you have a like they have a union for workers or whatever it is. They should have like a boxers union, so that you have fighters that have been in the game, that have known the ins and outs of it, and be able to teach these other fighters that. And I kind of like see that not only with yourself, but a couple of other people that have been in the game. Actually, one former fighter that is a promoter right now, Demetrius Salita. I have multiple conversations with him, and he kind of like goes through that same thing as well.
Absolutely. And I just have a heart for fighters, because I know what we go through. It's a few of us. I can't think of a fighter I don't like, but it's a few fighters that don't like certain fighters. But at the same time, we all get up and run all these miles. We all go to the gym. We all know what it's like to hit the heavy bag, the double M bag. We all know what it's like to push through on mitt work. We all know what it's like to have a good day in sparring, a bad day in sparring, an okay day in sparring. We all know all of these emotions that play into being a certain type of fighter. So under those grounds, I do have a heart for every fighter. And if they want to learn this, I'm here. If not, you can lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm here. I'm an open vessel to show them a few things, because there's no one in the game to show us. And a lot of fighters, we know what it's like to be sitting in our dressing room and finally get that big check. And, you can't even make it out of your door good before somebody has an investment that they want. My check ain't even warm in my hand yet. You already talking about what you want me to invest into. You know what I mean? Now, this guy wants a record label. This help me buy a house. You know what I mean? Like, it comes, and it like, I ain't even put my check in the bank yet. You know what I'm saying? So, just having that financial security, man, and understanding of how money works. And if they want to learn, I'm here. I have a team, BXB Financial. My wife is she's probably the strongest of the team. She has all of the license and everything. But we're here, man. If they want to make some proper investments and make sure that they're not lost after the game, because it's a cruel game. Nobody knows when it's over. Did you hear about the African kid that passed away after being knocked down twice in sparring? He was 1-0. That's the second case in Africa.
Yep. And then you had the thing where you had the fight, and where he got hit, but then it was like stopped, and then he just walked over to his own corner and just started throwing punches.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, man, it's a brutal sport. Like you say, you don't play boxing, and at any point, you could lose your life in the ring if you ain't real careful. So we bring up this stuff about having that boxers union that would kind of like go into that, as far as like protecting fighters, inside and outside of the ring.
Absolutely, and we need it. Like, I would encourage our fighters to try to link with Adrian Clark, and he has a book called "Protect Yourself at All Times."
Yes.
And, he knows some stories, man, and he's been part of them. Some of them were my stories. You got a few Errol Spence stories in there, just to show you how it worked, man, from the rooter to the tutor, and just to open their eyes a little bit. Like, all right, listen, this is the game. We got some knowledge for you. If you want it, cool. If not, cool.
Yeah, man. I talked with him, a while back, when he had the book, and I read that book, and I had a conversation with him, over, a thing for a podcast. But I eventually was able to meet him over there in Dallas when they had the Spence Ugas fight. So yeah, he's a very good dude, very
Yeah,
knowledgeable dude,
very knowledgeable.
that knows the ins and outs of the sport and the business of boxing, because there's some things in that book where he breaks down every single thing when it comes to fighters, a professional fighter, and how, checks kind of like break down as far as like, okay, you get this initial check and this person gets this cut and this person gets this cut and you got to pay taxes, and then you're ending up with about, man, like almost 30% of what you think. I'm like, come on, man. But yeah, that kind of like goes into it.
I'm gonna give you some perspective on how polarizing that situation is that you just spoke about. Do you know that in basketball, baseball, my bad,
Mhm.
in basketball, baseball, football, all those team sports that are under a league, managers can't get by law no more than like 2 to 3%, maybe 4, but 2 to 3% is the most that a manager can get in those sports. Why are managers getting 33 in the third in boxing?
33 in the third, man. 33 in the third. I'm
like, wait a minute. And that's a common number, and it's like boxing's a very ancient sport. So they have some ancient rules. But like, why should you be taking that much money from an athlete? And that's, to me, one of the most dangerous sports out there. You very rarely hear of a broke promoter, but you hear about broke fighters all the time.
Yep. That's it right there. You never hear about a broke promoter, but you hear about broke fighters all the time. And it kind of like goes into that whole thing with the percentage, and like what we were talking about with having that union. Like, you have the NFLPA, you have the NBAPA, MLB has a players association, all of them have players associations, where they, negotiate with the owners and say, hey, we know how much you're getting. We want to at least get this amount, and from that. And then also, dealing with the agents and making sure that the agents only get like a certain percentage from the contract that's being, done. But, with boxing, it's like, oh, because you're a promoter and you kind of, see this type of thing going in, then it's like, do I go forward with this type of contract, or do I just try to make do? And I don't know how it goes, but that's usually the tough thing that people decide when they turn professional is having that type of a deal that comes to them where they know that, oh, I could get these opportunities, but at the same time, once that check comes through, they get all of that cut, and then once you get that piece, trainers, cut men, other people within the gym that you work with, the sparring partners, that type of thing.
And everybody got a price.
Yeah.
Everybody got a price. Everybody got to eat. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. I heard, again, like, in no comparison, but Dave Chappelle spoke about this. He was talking about when he was young and he signed a contract for Comedy Central, and fans and stuff are so quick to say, well, if you knew this, you shouldn't have signed it. You should have had a lawyer look over. And it's like, yo, that's so easy to say. You know what I'm saying? But if you were in my position, you probably would have done worse. It's not, the game is never set up for you to win. You just have to be resilient enough and diligent enough to hang in there and stick in there and deal with what comes with it and get your moment.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. With that being said, I mean, we had like a whole lot of stuff that we were able to cover here, and I'm very thankful that you're able to take the time with us here at the Boxing Source. But before we go, I want you to like drop the social media profiles and everything like that, not just for yourself but for your company as well.
Dope. Everything is at Willie Monroe Jr. Everything, my Twitter, my Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Don't forget to hit that website up. People are really loving the brick by brick here, man. They're sending me stuff in. They're sending me pictures of everything. So I'm waiting a little while to post a few, but I post a few here and there. But I want to get a nice little collection, man. People are doing really well right now with that, buying from the website.
Gotcha. So thank you very much here for taking the time once again with me, the Boxing Source, and we're definitely going to be talking with you here in the future, and also, with what you're doing as far as like your training in with the brick by brick. So we're definitely going to be following up with you on that.
Absolutely. I know you see me looking down, man. These geckos be getting me too, bro.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. Always got to watch out for them, man. But thanks once again, man.
For sure, man. God bless.
All right, no doubt.
Peace.